Welcome to Daily Variety, your daily dose of news and analysis for entertainment industry insiders. It's Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. I'm your host, Cynthia Littleton. I am co-editor-in-chief of Variety alongside Ramin Satuda. I'm in LA, he's in New York, and Variety has reporters around the world covering the business of entertainment. On today's episode, coming at you straight from this week's Cannes Lion Festival of Creativity, we will hear from two titans in their fields, Apple's senior executive Eddy Cue and producer Jerry Bruckheimer. Eddy Cue was honored as Cannes Lion's Entertainment Person of the Year on Monday. Cue and Bruckheimer did an onstage Q&A, and a few hours later, the two sat down with me for an interview at that most Cannes-tastic of settings, the Carlton Hotel. We talk about a lot of things. We talk about the evolution of Apple's TV and film strategy, the new boss coming to the helm in Cupertino in September, the prospect of Brad Pitt starring in an F1 the movie sequel, and we talk about whether Apple has any heightened appetite for buying a studio or a big content library, given the way of the world these days. It's a lively conversation, but before we get to all of that, here are a few headlines just in this morning that you need to know. Google has struck a deal with indie film distributor A24 to set up an AI research partnership. The deal calls for the buzzy independent studio behind Backrooms to work with Google's DeepMind unit to develop AI-powered technologies for filmmakers. As part of the deal, Google is investing roughly $75 million in A24. Olivia Rodrigo has set the all-female lineup for her inaugural Daisy Chain Fields Festival, which will take place August 29th at the Great Park in Irvine. The bill includes Chappell Roan, Doechii, Cat's Eye, Mitski, The Breeders, Bikini Kill, and Garbage. It also promises special guests Karen O, Stevie Nicks, and the spiritual godmother of this event, Sarah McLachlan. All of these stories and so much more can be found on Variety.com right now. And now it's time for conversations with industry leaders about news and trends in show business. Eddy Cue and Jerry Bruckheimer fit that definition. The two collaborated closely on F1 the movie, and Bruckheimer assures us that Brad Pitt will be back in the driver's seat for a sequel as soon as they send him a script that he likes. We also talk about the origins of Apple TV and the changing of the guard that is coming to Apple on September 1st when Tim Cook hands the CEO scepter to Apple veteran John Turnus. Eddy Cue and Jerry Bruckheimer, thank you so much for making some time for me today.
I appreciate it. It's great to be here with you.
Always love talking to you. So this is a nice occasion to do it with beautiful sun and sea outside the window. It's fantastic here.
The setting of this very busy work week really could be a lot worse. And congratulations to you, Eddy. You are the Cannes Lion Entertainment Person of the Year. That's a pretty lofty honor. It's hard to believe, but 2017, Jamie Ehrlich, Zach Van Amberg, you brought those characters over and really revved up activity. So as you come up now next year, it'll be 10 years. How would you say being in movie and television and the world of content, how would you say that has changed the larger organization, the larger Apple organization?
Well, we've always had a great appreciation for artists of all kinds, whether it was an architect, a photographer, a painter, musicians. So to be a part of the process and to feel like we're contributing in that, I think all of Apple's incredibly proud to see the work and feel like we've gotten into this area and done it the Apple way of trying to create the best content that's out there. If you go back 10 years ago, most people were like, including some people inside of Apple, were like, this is crazy. Why? Well, there's no way you'll be able to do this. The bar is so high. I think people at Apple are really, really proud that Apple TV is theirs. And honestly, that's why I'm here. We've always been about trying to be the best, not the most. And so we wanted to have this place where the best people can come to work and we're going to help them create their best work. That was the mission, the plan. And it's great to see it come to fruition in so many ways. I learned this from Steve back when he was the CEO of Pixar at one point, and he was CEO of Apple. And I was asking him, like, why are the Pixar movies all have hits? And he's like, it's really simple. It always begins and ends with the story. Until we get the story right, then you can't do everything else. And so it's like, if you have a great story and then you put great people working on it, then these magical moments happen that we all love.
It starts with a story, starts with the characters, starts with the themes, and that's what it's all about. And then you have to get the right talent, whether it's a book or a article or a original idea or a documentary or whatever it is. It's it's like what they did with television. Hiring Zach and Jamie was a brilliant move. Look at the shows that they put on the air. It's unbelievable that those two men, along with Eddy and his team, put so much quality television on Apple Plus. It takes a team, and they made the right decision on who they wanted to bring in and do it and work with them. And the same thing they did with us with F1. They made us better. And that's what you want as a partner. You want somebody to come in and be a partner that makes you be at the top of your game and allows you to hire the people that you need to make the right type of movie. And another place that would say, oh, you don't need to do this, you don't need to do that. But as it turned out, the movie was the most authentic racing movie ever made, and the highest grossing sports movie, and the highest, I mean, it was one of those things to just click. And it was because of what they have allowed us to do.
Do you judge Apple TV against a peer group? Do you look at the performance of Netflix and Hulu? Do you judge it in that kind of traditional business sense where you look for a peer group and look at how it's performing, or do you have different metrics?
Well, they all matter. You can't say you can't ignore some of the bottom line because that's a scoreboard that's a customer's giving you feedback on. But, one of the ways I always look at it is, are there other shows or movies that I wish we had done?
At this time of transition for a lot of Hollywood assets, were you at all tempted to jump into the Warner Brothers Discovery fray? Is there appetite for getting deeper into the studio side of the business with a library? Is that increased at all with everything going on?
We're pretty deep into it. We're making a lot of shows and movies from that standpoint. And, we set out from the very beginning that if we were putting the Apple brand and name on something, then it was something that we were creating. We weren't doing it to take somebody else's content or piece. So I still feel very strongly about that. It was harder than I thought, I'm sure. I know it was because when you start with zero, it takes a while to build a library. But now we have a library and it's great. We've got some great shows that people are seeing for the first time. We got a new Ted Lasso. But the truth is, there's a lot of people now that haven't seen Ted Lasso because that was, years ago and we were way smaller. And so we're going to introduce a whole lot of new people to Ted Lasso this summer with a new season. And no, I like the way we're doing it. It's kind of like what we set out to do. And it just takes a while to get to where we are. And here we are.
Apple TV, Apple Worldwide Video came to be through you and Tim Cook. Do you have a sense of where John Turnus is in terms of his vision and interest in the entertainment side of the house?
John's been at Apple for over 20 years, so I know him very well. We've worked together for a very long time. I'm really excited about the future of Apple under John's leadership. He's going to be amazing. And he was a part of the executive team when we started this whole thing. So he's a big believer in it. He's a huge viewer. We were just talking about Widow's Bay because he was watching, and he's a car racer. So he loves Formula One. So he's very excited about a new movie. He's a huge fan of what we're doing.
This is my real last question. I know it's early yet, but what can you tell us about your F1 sequel? People were buzzing that you said that appears to be, forgive me, heading to the starting line.
We can't give you much yet. We're just working on it right now. We're just kind of shaping it. I think we got a really good shape, but when you work on these things, the shape changes. It's amorphous. So we haven't kind of locked into exactly what it is. We know the arc of the characters. We know all those kind of things.
Mm-hmm. And will Brad Pitt be back? Will that character be back?
He'd like to get in that car again. We got to give him a good script. We give him a good script. So we had it.
The other part that we're very, very excited about, UAP, that we're doing with Joe and Jerry together. For me, when you talk about how do you measure yourselves and what you're doing. What a great measure that Jerry and Joe are going to work on their next project and they want to do it with us. That's a telling sign that we must be doing something pretty good to do that. And so that's a project that we're incredibly excited about because everyone's kind of interested in this. You want to know about UFOs, and since you've been a kid, you've heard more, and it's an incredible story.
Well, thank you both for your time. Congratulations, Eddy. Jerry, always great to talk with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As we close out today's episode, here's a few things we're watching for. Boyhood is coming back to theaters to mark the 12-year anniversary of its release. Richard Linklater's Oscar-winning film that tracks a boy's coming of age was shot in real time over a 12-year span. IFC will put the film back in theaters for a limited release on July 18th. The Austin Film Society will also host a screening and cast reunion event with Linklater and stars Ethan Hawke, Patricia Arquette, and Eller Coltrane. On the heels of the great Ken Burns documentary, The American Revolution, director Stacey Holman delivers Declarations, Black Americans and the Revolutionary War. The hour-long documentary film drops June 29th on PBS. We love to hear from our listeners, so please send thoughts, gripes, and other feedback about Daily Variety to podcasts@variety.com. Before we go, congrats to Kiki Palmer, the multi-hyphenate star who was here at Cannes Lions speaking and making the rounds. Palmer has just been appointed to BET's Board of Advisors. She joins a panel that includes BET founder Bob Johnson, Queen Latifah, LL Cool J, and CBS chief George Cheeks. The board serves as a strategic and cultural sounding board for leadership, according to BET. It was established earlier this month by BET President Louis Carr. Thanks for listening. This episode was written and reported by me, Cynthia Littleton. Stick, snick, sick pics. Please leave us a review at the podcast platform of your choice. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Daily Variety.